It's a split personality disorder, obviously. You know, it might even be equal parts schizophrenia. But what this is not is an actual gender, obviously. She's not a tri-gender.
Just stop. I want Turning Point USA to, for once in their lives, do the right thing and pay me a monthly retainer to consult them on PR. To just say, no. Nope. I say to myself, the numbers of the prisoners, they cannot be random. They are random, but they can't be random. They have to hold some sort of a meaning.
So now the online chatter is moving at lightning speed with social media packed full of rumors and speculation. Some users are claiming that Erika Kirk may have been linked to alleged private medical information said to involve Candace Owens. According to those online discussions, the unverified claims supposedly reference past mental health treatment, but there has been no public confirmation that these rumors are accurate. The controversy has exploded across different platforms, with disputed reports spreading about whether Candace may have experienced a private psychiatric situation in the past, while others are speculating about the role her husband may have played in helping her through personal challenges behind closed doors.
Bro, what the is going on with Candace Owens?
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
I don't even know the context of that clip. I just know that getting on camera and saying that is crazy.
None of these claims have been verified, but that has not stopped people from talking. Many online commenters are saying the reported fallout between Erika Kirk and Candace Owens appears to have reached a very serious level. A growing number of critics are also tying these unconfirmed allegations to Candace's recent public appearances and commentary. They argue it could help explain why some of her statements have come across as more intense or unpredictable in recent years. People keep pointing to her controversial claims about Brigitte Macron's identity, along with separate theories involving Charlie Kirk and allegations that he was being watched or targeted by intelligence-linked groups connected to different governments. Adding even more drama to the situation, Candace has publicly spoken about what she believes are powerful opponents or government-connected forces targeting her. Critics online have seized on those remarks and pushed even more speculation, even though the claims remain disputed and unproven. At this point, the conversation has become so chaotic that many people are no longer debating her political style alone. They are now openly speculating about personal matters that have not been publicly confirmed. According to rumors spreading across social media, the alleged leaked medical information is what sent this entire conversation into overdrive. Even so, no official evidence or public confirmation has been released to verify those claims, leaving much of the discussion based on speculation and online reactions alone. Before those alleged documents were even being talked about, Candace had already been posting heavily on X and other platforms for several days. Many viewers noticed what they described as a major shift in tone. Instead of focusing on a single disagreement, she appeared to be taking aim at multiple conservative media personalities at the same time. And one of the most talked about figures in that back and forth was her former Daily Wire colleague, Ben Shapiro.
They're still running this game of trying to get the press to go after me, to go after my family. So when I say it has been a nonstop onslaught against my life, this is what I mean. And I do think it's time for us to share the documents so people can actually read the documents of what my family has lived through.
Candace shared posts claiming that Ben and people around him were allegedly coordinating criticism against her and, according to her statements, even working behind the scenes to target her family. Those accusations quickly grabbed attention and sparked heated debate across social media. The biggest issue, according to critics, was that she did not publicly present clear evidence to support those claims. That immediately divided audiences into opposing camps. Some supporters stood firmly behind her and believed she was exposing real problems, while others argued that her posts and live streams seemed increasingly emotional, scattered, and suspicious. What made the situation even more awkward for many viewers was the timing. While Candace was accusing others of trying to damage her reputation, she was also dedicating multiple podcast episodes to criticizing Erika Kirk, and audiences could clearly see the tension between the two continuing to grow at a rapid pace. Candace was putting a major spotlight on Erika Kirk in public, accusing her of being dishonest, criticizing her online, and revisiting past controversies she had already discussed before.
So yeah, across the board, people are laughing, they're mocking it, they're saying it was, you're lying, and also it's just weird. It was weird and it was awkward. And speaking of the lying, which, like I said, many people called out right away, as that person said, I've never made that statement on this podcast.
The dispute kept resurfacing in her content, with Candace repeatedly bringing the topic back into the conversation. Many viewers noticed that the back and forth had become one of the most talked about conflicts surrounding her recent commentary. During a recent podcast episode, Candace intensified her criticism and argued that more questions should be asked about matters connected to Erika and past events she had spoken about publicly. That sparked another wave of reactions online and pushed the ongoing feud back into the spotlight once again. The situation became even more heated when rumors about an alleged leaked psychiatric report began circulating across social media shortly afterward. Those claims spread rapidly despite the lack of public verification. As the discussion exploded online, some users started speculating about whether the prolonged public conflict between Candace and Erika had contributed to the growing tension. However, those theories remain speculation and have not been confirmed by reliable sources. Looking back, some viewers believe the reason those alleged leak rumors gained so much traction is because online communities had already been debating Candace's behavior and public statements for quite some time. Critics argued that her recent comments made certain narratives easier for people to believe, while others pushed back strongly, saying the speculation was unfair, unsupported, and based largely on rumors rather than verified facts. For many viewers, the situation entered a much more unusual phase when Candace became heavily focused on Brigitte Macron, the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron. What started as commentary on the topic did not fade away after a single discussion. Instead, it developed into a long-running controversy that sparked fierce debate across social media and political circles alike.
It's time for you to wake up. So we will start from the top here with a photo of Brigitte Macron. Real name, Jean-Michel Trogneux. That person that you are looking at on the right is not a woman. Okay? Here is a photo, by the way, just over the years, Jean-Michel Trogneux, as he became Brigitte, as I said.
Candace repeatedly raised questions and claims regarding Brigitte Macron's identity, and the discussion quickly spread far beyond her usual audience. The story gained attention from journalists, political commentators, and online communities across the spectrum. What stood out to many observers was how strongly she continued to pursue the subject, even as criticism and pushback continued to grow. Critics argued that she appeared deeply committed to the theory and unwilling to move on from it, while supporters defended her right to question influential public figures and controversial topics. As the debate intensified, more people began discussing not just the claims themselves, but also Candace's broader approach to public commentary. Some former supporters even said they felt uncomfortable with how personal and intense the coverage had become compared to her earlier style. Many viewers pointed to the contrast between her current approach and how she presented herself several years ago. Then the conversation escalated again when Candace publicly claimed that powerful opponents, political adversaries, and government-connected individuals were allegedly working against her behind the scenes. Those statements fueled even more online debate, and discussions that had once focused on politics started shifting towards speculation about her personal circumstances, causing rumors and theories to spread even faster across social media. Because Candace did not simply mention Brigitte Macron in passing, she devoted significant attention to claims that Brigitte was allegedly born male and had concealed her identity for years. Candace presented the issue as what she described as a major story that deserved further scrutiny, while critics argued the allegations were unsupported.
I said, this is very obviously something Erika should answer for. You want to be the queen bee? You want to be a public figure? You want people floating your name as for president of the United States? Well, let's get to a little bit of background. Who are you? What were you doing?
The claims have been widely disputed and challenged, and the subject remains highly controversial. What made many viewers uncomfortable was the way disputed information was sometimes presented with a high level of certainty. One frequently discussed example involved an old photograph that some supporters claimed showed a young Brigitte as a child. Later, journalists and other commentators pushed back on that interpretation, reporting that the individual in the image was believed to be Brigitte's brother rather than Brigitte herself. Even after those counterarguments and corrections began circulating online, Candace continued discussing the topic with confidence and determination. For many outside observers, that persistence became one of the most debated parts of the controversy. Critics argued that the intensity of her focus seemed unusually strong compared to a typical political disagreement, while supporters maintained that she was simply pursuing questions she believed deserved attention. As those debates continued, people started connecting this controversy with her recent social media disputes, ongoing online feuds, and repeated criticism of Erika Kirk. When all of those events were viewed together, many online users began revisiting older Candace clips and public appearances through a completely different lens, adding even more fuel to the already heated discussion.
Every morning I wake up to a new headline lying about me. I have comedians dressing up in whiteface. I have people saying I'm not fit to be CEO. And I have Candace Owens claiming I murdered my husband. And the list goes on and on and on.
What some supporters once viewed as bold and aggressive commentary was increasingly being seen by critics as part of a much larger pattern. As the debates intensified, people began digging through older interviews, podcast appearances, and live stream clips, searching for signs of when they believed a noticeable change in Candace's public approach first started to emerge. According to critics online, they do not believe the shift happened all at once. Instead, they argue it gradually became more pronounced as the controversies surrounding her continued to grow. Some viewers pointed to moments where Candace spoke about media organizations, political opponents, and influential public figures, suggesting that she believed certain groups were working against her behind the scenes. Others highlighted interviews and public comments where she discussed feeling targeted, silenced, or unfairly attacked by people she believed wanted to damage her reputation and career. Those remarks became a major topic of discussion as online observers tried to piece together a broader narrative about her recent public behavior. At the same time, her supporters pushed back strongly against those interpretations. They argued that Candace was simply responding to years of criticism, public scrutiny, and intense media attention. Many supporters said that outspoken political commentators often attract controversy and become frequent targets of criticism themselves. Still, even some people who generally defended her admitted that the nonstop disputes, public clashes, and escalating accusations had become difficult to keep up with. Then, when rumors about an alleged psychiatric leak entered the online conversation, the situation exploded even further. Suddenly, old clips, controversial statements, and past arguments were being re-examined from every angle, creating an even bigger wave of speculation and debate across social media. As more people revisited older podcast episodes, interviews, and livestream clips, the online conversation surrounding Candace became even more intense. Social media users began closely examining everything from her speaking style to her reactions during public disagreements, and the speculation only grew as additional clips resurfaced and circulated online. It is important to note that many of those conclusions were based on personal opinions and interpretations from viewers, not verified facts. Despite the growing rumors and commentary, there has been no public confirmation supporting many of the claims being discussed across social media platforms. One detail that stood out to many observers was that Erika Kirk never publicly stated, "I have proof Candace Owens is mentally ill." She did not frame her criticism in those terms. Instead, Erika repeatedly accused Candace of spreading what she described as false information, encouraging harassment, and directing repeated public criticism toward her and her family through podcasts and social media posts. Viewers could see the tension increasing each time Erika responded publicly to the controversy. Many people assumed that once Erika addressed the situation directly, the conflict might begin to cool down. However, according to critics, the opposite appeared to happen. They argued that Candace became even more determined in her public criticism whenever Erika pushed back against her claims. The dispute eventually reached another level when Candace launched her investigative podcast series, Bride of Charlie. The series immediately sparked fresh debate, criticism, and controversy online. Within a short period, it became one of the most discussed and divisive projects associated with Candace, generating strong reactions from both supporters and critics across social media. Candace presented the project as a detailed investigation into questions and controversies surrounding Charlie Kirk's passing and Erika Kirk's connection to the broader story. According to her supporters, the series was meant to examine issues they believed deserved additional public discussion. However, critics argued that the content quickly moved into very personal territory and raised concerns about the direction of the coverage. Episode after episode, Candace revisited past allegations, discussed personal details, and highlighted topics that many viewers felt had already been publicly addressed or debated before. That approach generated strong reactions online and kept the controversy at the center of social media conversations for weeks. Supporters praised her persistence and said she was refusing to drop a story she believed still had unanswered questions. On the other hand, critics argued that her focus on the situation appeared increasingly intense. Erika and her supporters also pushed back, claiming the podcast felt more like a personal campaign than traditional commentary or investigative reporting. As a result, social media became sharply divided. One side defended Candace's right to discuss public controversies and ask difficult questions, while the other accused her of pushing the story too far and creating unnecessary conflict. Then, when rumors about an alleged psychiatric leak began spreading online at the same time, the entire conversation surrounding Candace shifted once again. Suddenly, many online users were no longer debating only whether her claims were accurate or inaccurate. They were also discussing her broader public behavior and communication style. Throughout the series, Candace publicly criticized numerous aspects of Erika's life, including stories about her background, business history, and public statements. She also raised questions about various associations and controversies that had circulated online, further intensifying an already heated and highly polarizing debate. The entire controversy became extremely heated, and many viewers said parts of the commentary felt increasingly personal as the situation continued to unfold. With each new episode and social media discussion, the debate surrounding both Candace and Erika seemed to grow even more intense. What made many observers especially uncomfortable was Candace's repeated suggestions that Erika may have known more about Charlie's passing than she had publicly discussed. Those remarks sparked immediate backlash online, particularly among viewers who felt that such serious implications required stronger supporting evidence. Critics argued that the conversation was moving beyond commentary and into allegations that had not been publicly substantiated. As clips from the podcast spread across social media, even some people who generally supported Candace began expressing concerns about how invested she appeared in the dispute. Critics claimed the level of focus was becoming difficult to ignore, while supporters maintained that she was simply continuing to pursue questions she believed remained unanswered. The controversy gained even more attention when a New York Post article weighed in on the situation. According to reports, the article described parts of Candace's conduct as potentially libelous and criticized the investigative series in highly negative terms. Those remarks quickly circulated online, with many people sharing and debating the article's characterization of the podcast and its overall tone. By the time rumors involving alleged psychiatric records started spreading across social media, the internet was already deeply divided over the entire conflict. After months of public tension and online exchanges, Erika Kirk eventually addressed Candace Owens directly by name, adding another major chapter to an already explosive and highly debated controversy. Once Erika stopped speaking in general terms and publicly addressed Candace by name, the controversy surged to an entirely new level online. Her comments quickly spread across social media, drawing major attention from both supporters and critics who had been following the dispute for months. Erika accused Candace of promoting what she described as false narratives, encouraging harassment, and turning a deeply personal tragedy into public content and entertainment. Supporters of Erika immediately rallied behind her, arguing that she had every right to defend herself after being the subject of repeated discussions across podcasts, interviews, and social media platforms for such an extended period of time. At the same time, Candace's supporters strongly disagreed with those accusations. They argued that she was being unfairly attacked for asking difficult questions and challenging accounts that she believed deserved further examination. Even with those defenses, however, the backlash surrounding the feud continued to grow because the emotional nature of the conflict had become increasingly difficult for observers to ignore. Then the alleged psychiatric leak rumors entered the discussion at what many viewed as the worst possible moment. Instead of focusing solely on the dispute between the two women, large portions of the online conversation shifted toward speculation about Candace herself, her recent public behavior, and what some people believed the escalating conflicts might indicate. Those discussions remained largely driven by opinion and rumor rather than verified information. Erika also accused Candace of spending months promoting narratives that, in her view, suggested she bore responsibility for circumstances surrounding her husband's passing. She described Candace's actions as targeted, harmful, and intentionally damaging. Many people watching the exchange said Erika sounded frustrated and emotionally drained as she finally responded publicly after remaining relatively restrained for so long. What stood out to many viewers was that Erika continued to avoid using the harsh mental health labels that had already been circulating across social media for months in discussions about Candace. Even as the conflict became more heated, Erika largely focused her criticism on Candace's actions, statements, and public commentary, rather than making direct claims about her mental health. Some observers believed that restraint may have been intentional because Candace had once been personally connected to Charlie Kirk. Whether that was the reason or not, many viewers noticed that Erika did not publicly cross into the same territory that some online commentators had entered. However, that approach was not shared by everyone involved in the broader debate. Laura Loomer quickly entered the controversy and publicly criticized Candace on social media without hesitation. Laura posted on X, "After accusing Erika Kirk and Tapusa of killing Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens is now claiming Erika is a billionaire and that she and Tapusa should hire Candace Owens. This is schizophrenic behavior." That post immediately attracted attention and sparked another wave of reactions across conservative media circles and online communities. Once Laura made those comments, the conversation seemed to escalate even further. Commentators who had previously remained neutral or avoided taking sides began speaking out more openly. Some agreed with portions of the criticism directed at Candace, while others continued defending her and arguing that she was being treated unfairly. For many observers, this was the point where the controversy stopped looking like ordinary internet drama and became something much more serious and personal. The arguments grew sharper, emotions ran higher, and speculation surrounding the alleged leaked records continued spreading rapidly across social media, despite the lack of public verification. As those rumors gained traction, some online users began treating the alleged records as if they explained every controversy Candace had been involved in during recent years. Older clips resurfaced across multiple platforms, and critics started connecting her public feuds, emotional live streams, controversial commentary, and repeated claims about being targeted by powerful opponents into a single narrative, while supporters argued that such conclusions were speculative and unsupported by confirmed facts. Some users argued that the internet was crossing a line by speculating about someone's private health without verified evidence, while others claimed that Candace's own public statements and behavior had contributed to those discussions gaining momentum. No matter where people stood, the controversy moved incredibly fast, and each new post, response, or reaction seemed to attract even more attention. What made the situation even more chaotic was that no publicly verified proof of the alleged psychiatric records had been confirmed. Despite that, many online discussions treated the rumors as though they were already established facts. That created a major divide between supporters who believed Candace was being unfairly targeted and critics who felt the allegations matched patterns they believed they had observed in her recent public conduct. By this stage, the conflict had expanded far beyond politics, media commentary, or podcast disputes. It had evolved into a massive online controversy involving personal accusations, mental health speculation, public feuds, and constant commentary from high-profile conservative personalities who were increasingly choosing sides in the debate. Many observers believe one reason the situation continues to generate so much attention is that people claim to see recurring themes whenever Candace faces significant criticism or public pressure. Critics argue that during major controversies, she often begins speaking about hidden opponents, secret efforts against her, or powerful individuals who she believes are working behind the scenes to cause harm. Supporters, however, argue that she is simply expressing concerns about people she genuinely believes are targeting her unfairly. A frequently cited example involves the period when legal disputes connected to Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron were receiving increased public attention. Around that time, Candace made statements suggesting she had received information indicating that the Macrons may have been connected to efforts aimed at targeting her. Critics questioned those claims because, according to them, no clear public evidence was released to support the allegations, while supporters argued she was sharing concerns she believed deserved attention and investigation. People kept asking for documents, screenshots, names, or any other evidence that could independently verify the allegations being discussed online, but no publicly confirmed proof was ever presented. Because of that, the debate only grew larger, with many social media users connecting those claims to broader conversations that were already taking place about Candace's recent public conduct and statements. For critics, the issue had grown beyond a single controversy or one heated social media exchange. They argued that repeated references to secret plots, powerful opponents, and hidden efforts against her appeared to form a larger pattern over time. Supporters strongly rejected that interpretation, insisting that Candace was raising concerns she genuinely believed were important and that critics were reading too much into her comments. Across social media, users began collecting old clips, podcast segments, interviews, and posts where Candace discussed feeling targeted, watched, silenced, or attacked by influential people behind the scenes. Critics pointed to those examples as evidence of what they believed was a recurring theme in her public commentary. They also argued that the claims often seemed to become more dramatic whenever a new controversy emerged around her. Some viewers highlighted moments where routine political disagreements appeared to escalate into discussions involving intelligence agencies, coordinated smear campaigns, or powerful networks allegedly working against her. To supporters, those statements reflected her willingness to challenge powerful interests and speak openly despite intense criticism. To critics, however, the repeated escalation made it harder for them to separate the political arguments from the growing speculation surrounding her personal circumstances. At the same time, many others pushed back against the trend of analyzing or labeling someone's mental health based solely on clips, rumors, and social media commentary. They argued that public figures often face enormous pressure from lawsuits, media scrutiny, online criticism, and public backlash, which can naturally affect how they communicate during stressful periods. Those observers warned against treating speculation as fact or drawing conclusions without reliable evidence. Regardless of which side people supported, one thing became increasingly clear throughout the online debate. The alleged leak rumors had dramatically changed the way many people viewed and discussed Candace Owens. From that point forward, nearly every statement, interview, podcast appearance, or social media post became subject to far more scrutiny, with audiences analyzing her words through an entirely different lens than before. People online have started pointing to what they believe is a recurring pattern in Candace Owens's public controversies. According to critics, a major claim often sparks headlines, public pushback follows, and then new allegations or discussions emerge involving powerful opponents, hidden agendas, or people she believes may be working against her behind the scenes. Supporters, however, argue that she is simply speaking openly about issues and concerns that others are unwilling to discuss. Critics say that pattern has become increasingly difficult for them to ignore, especially after the ongoing disputes involving Erika Kirk, the Brigitte Macron controversy, public clashes with former allies, and the recent rumors surrounding alleged leaked psychiatric records all collided in the public spotlight at the same time. As a result, many online conversations have moved far beyond debates about politics or media commentary alone. Now, the discussion has become much more intense, with commentators and social media users arguing over what these events mean and whether people are reading too much into a series of unrelated controversies. At the same time, others continue to caution against treating rumors, speculation, and unverified claims as established facts. That's the full breakdown of this highly debated situation and the online storm surrounding it. What do you think about everything that has unfolded? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because people are sharply divided on this story right now. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more updates on the biggest stories making waves online. Also, don't forget to comment your opinion below. We want to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.